This is Shanera, and I'm here to share with you my journey of doing my first ever 21-day water only fast. Yes, I said it. I just completed, as of last night, 9 p.m. I had only taken water, coconut water, nothing but that, since July 23rd around 9 p.m. was the last thing I had eaten anything that day. So, and I'm going to tell you why, how, what was the purpose, all that. So, first of all, I'm a Christian. And so, fasting is supposed to be a discipline, a lifestyle for Christians. But what's fascinating, although I am 39 years old, I had never done a true fast. Yes, I'm aware there are Daniel fasts, there are all these other, I'll say knockoff fasts, but things that I'm going to say just seems to gratify our flesh and what we're willing to do to sacrifice whatever reason we're doing it. But a true biblical fast means you're not eating anything. And there are other religions that I do know that do believe in that kind of fasting as well. But interesting enough, the most I've ever done was a Daniel fast. But here's the kicker. As a vegan, a Daniel fast really isn't a big deal to me. So whenever we would say Daniel fast, for me, I would just say, okay, I'm not going to snack. That would be my sacrifice. But so I had gone on, and hang on, if you're not a Christian, you could learn some too. Okay. So I had gone on, I have been listening to Dr. Miles Monroe for a few years now, and I had listened to a couple of his sermons about the power of fasting, prayer and fasting. Let's be clear. And just shrugged it off. I was like, yeah, and yeah again, but never pushed myself to go in the way he had taught it, which is from the Bible. But this year, this season of my life, definitely felt like I just needed more of God. I needed to hear him clearly. I needed clarity. And I was willing to do what I had never done before in order to get it. And so I had the tug on me to start a fast in June, but I ignored it. But I knew I had to do it. So then I said, okay, I'll do it July. But then the 4th came, and I wanted to eat my little plant-based sausages by Beyond Burger, Beyond Meat or whatever. And so I put it off. And then around to the latter part of July, I said, well, Lord, I got all this going on. I'm going to need to eat for strength and stuff. And then it dawned on me, with the way my life is set up, it will never be the perfect time to fast. And so I just dug in. I said, I'm going to do it. So I decided, I was going to pray and fast. And my expectation was that I was going to dig into a deeper prayer life, and I was going to hear something from the Lord. What's my next move, the direction, if nothing else, like I just knew that I had to grow me up. I need to hear. And so fasting is supposed to clear your spiritual ears out, like Dr. Miles Monroe would say, like a pipe. If it's clogged up, nothing can get through. And so that's what eating does. And there are two things in the world that if you can conquer them, then you will broaden your reach. You'll have more command over your life. And those two things are, if you can I don't want to say suppress, but if you have power over your sexual appetite and over your belly, if you can tell those two things no, then you are supreme, and you are pretty much above average than most people, because that is, people quote unquote can't live and can't say no to sex, and then people just can't eat. And so now let's talk about the start of fast. So I tried to dig in, and really, because what happens is, now that you aren't eating, now that you aren't preparing to eat, now that you're not going to the grocery store, etc., then you freed yourself up a lot of bit of time, and you should be replacing it with time with God. In my case, in prayer, in studying of the word. God, God, more God, need more God, need more God. Meditation, sit still, hear him, and repeat. Press play and repeat, that sort of thing. And so my first week, interesting enough, I got a flat out cold. I got a cold and I started my cycle. I was one annoyed sister because if nothing else, during my cycle, I need to be comforted with dark chocolate, but then I had this running nose thing going on and everything, and I just was like, ugh, what a time. And then I still had the obligations, the commitments I had committed to prior to this. So I have my Juke Out dance fitness thing. I was in the Parks After Dark summer series, and on the first week of my fast, I had to teach that bad boy. So about 5 or 6 days in, here I was, hadn't had nothing to eat, but nothing but water, and I was teaching my crazy aerobic dance fitness class, and that was one of the times I felt extremely weak. I know that wasn't wisdom. If I had my way, I would not have been there, but the Lord sustained me. Um, okay, so what else did I do? I was ending my sketch comedy class, and I had a showcase for it, and to go through that, the rehearsals for that, and then to perform was another thing. I know that I'm a comfort eater. I'm vegan, but I eat. I have I eat what I want to eat and stuff like that. And that was another thing. I just knew that I was out of control. I was lacking discipline. And so anytime that I felt quote unquote hungry, which is really not hunger, it's really just the habit of your body saying, give me something so I can feel good. And I would just have to drink some water or just tell that belly, shut up. We ain't doing that, you know? So so let me just go into it. So here's the thing. I don't feel like my prayer life got immensely deeper or anything like that. It was, to me, my biggest testimony was just how much God can sustain you. That I literally feel like with him and the Holy Spirit empowering me, I could literally do anything, because there's just no way I could have done it in my own strength. I really could not have. What other things did I notice about the fast? I can't say that it was extremely difficult. I just don't remember being like, oh, I want to eat, or oh, my stomach hurt, or oh, I don't remember that at all. It wasn't that. It was just that I missed food. I missed tasting food. I missed it so much. And I tell you what also came to mind was my mother. So my mom is 55 years old, and she's a stroke survivor. She had 3 strokes in 2015, and the side effect was after she had the surgery that she survived. My mother is in a nursing home right now, 24-hour care, but she can't do most daily activities that we take for granted. But for the last year, my mother has only had her nourishment through a G tube. She cannot have any food by mouth. She has not passed a swallow test in over a year. So I thought about that a few times. I said, after 21 days, I can eat again. But my mom, last time I saw her was in May, and we were sitting on the porch of the nursing home with the other residents, etc. There were people coming in and out with bags from Bojangles. The other residents were sitting outside eating right in front of her, and I just thought about the torture that she must go through when she smells food and she can't have any. So I thought about that. I tell you what kind of preoccupied my mind throughout the fast, which, which means I didn't pray as much as I could, because I spent a lot of time on YouTube. And because I was fascinated about fasting, because it's still new to me. And the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm 7 days in, I'm 14 days in. And so I went online and I watched so many videos about fasting, whether they were Christians or non-Christians, and the power of fasting and what it does for you physically. And I was just so fascinated about what I was learning from it. And yeah, I preoccupied. So here's the advice, and I realized that this has been long already. Um, um, I will be doing this as a lifestyle, as the Spirit leads me. Maybe it'll be 3 7 days. I do know I'll be doing another 21. I think it's so vital. Um, Oh, I do notice that whenever like I get calls, and I used to get like anxiety, I could literally feel like the cortisol go person through my stomach when I get a crazy phone call at work. But I have not had that feeling the entire time. I think that is phenomenal. I also want to comment and say that my cycle wasn't as debilitating as before. I also want to say, I'm gonna let you know, I actually haven't had a bowel movement in like 2 weeks. It's really weird. Um, it's been all urine and it's been water. But what's interesting enough is that it would be sometimes my urine was still really, really yellow. So I think it was still a flushing of chemicals and toxins coming out. Had to be, because I'm just consuming water. Um. Oh yeah. So we were talking about the lifestyle. So definitely making it a lifestyle. And um so when the Bible tells us that we shouldn't be telling people when we're fasting, but because I was so fascinated by it, I promised Lord I wasn't doing it, to be seen in a certain light, like I'm so deep. But it was obvious to people that I wasn't eating, and so I just shared a little bit. I said, yeah, I'm doing this 21-day only water, and everybody's natural response is, oh my God, how do you do that? I can't. And I would tell people that the human body does what you tell it to do. If you want to, you can. And the Lord Jesus did 40 days, so it's totally possible. Totally possible. And I'm just a living witness that it works. And one more thing. So when I started it, I was 142 pounds. When I weighed myself yesterday morning, the scale said I weighed 121.5. So I almost lost exactly 21 pounds in 21 days. I just know that my body is thanking me right now for the rest that it gave my system to do what it needs to do. Oh, and one more thing. So I was getting to be a thick, chubby vegan. So my stomach ain't been flat since I don't know when. So let me tell you, I still have fibroids, and some are very big. And I thought that part of my stomach being a little on the bloated side was because of them. Here's a news flash. The reason why you don't go into starvation mode for the first 40 days of a water-only fast is because your body is in ketosis state, meaning that it is eating up all the fat, the unused energy that's sitting on your body. So my stomach has not been this close to flat since my 20s. I wish I could show y'all what I look like naked. I thought I was sexy juicy at first, but because I'm a shaved woman, you won't be seeing that. But when you see how svelte I look, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm trying to tell you. So my stomach slimmed down because it was nothing but fat on it. I'm trying to tell y'all. I'm recommending everybody fast. You might not do 21, but you can build up to it. One day is not a fast. Dr. Mouse says you just missed a couple of meals. The benefits of fasting don't really start to kick in until around day 7 or 8. Another thing I would recommend too, and this is what I have to implement going forward. When you're fasting, I did do this part. I haven't watched television, even though I was watching some YouTube, like the videos with the fasting though. I didn't listen to any music that wasn't praise and worship music. Nothing that was entertaining. The whole thing is that you're fasting because you're trying to hear clearly. So make sure you don't do that. You're supposed to be filling those voids with nothing but God if you are on that kind of spiritual tip, like if you're a Christian like myself. Because this is a spiritually sensitive time, because you are opening yourself to things. You want to make sure the right things are getting in there. But the other thing is you're fasting from your life, right? So the thing with me, even though I delved in because I felt like it would never be a perfect time for me to fast, with the way my life is set up, with all the things I do, it is recommended that you do a fast and you clear your schedule. Like, if you have to work a day job like mine, like I do or whatever, if you're fortunate enough to not have to report in with somebody, that's fantastic, girl. I would be in the Rockies some doggone way, away from the world, breathing real good fresh air. But beyond your day job, my butt should have been at the crib in prayer. I should not have been out teaching no jugal. I should have not been in nobody's comedy class or any meetings or anything like that. You really want to be clear. The one thing I can say is that because I wasn't moving around, because I had to preserve my energy so much, I haven't done any exercise beyond me teaching those 1 or 2 classes or anything like that. I just would, once I was done with what I was done with, I was in the bed. I was in the bed 9, 10 o'clock, that kind of thing. No pushing the midnight oil, nothing like that. So that's it. I hope this helps y'all. And read up on it. See some videos about it. Fasting, the one thing I wanted to do was get an appointment with my doctor so she could do some lab work. I would really want to get a ultrasound. I'm curious to see how or if this has affected my stats, blood glucose, my heart, my blood pressure, and these doggone fibroids. I'm very curious. I bet you there's been some definitely significant changes. But all right, I'm gonna let y'all go at 18 minutes up in here. All right, peace and happy fasting.